let's see what they prioritize here. Picks and bans for Game 2. Let's get them underway. NRG with a chance to return the favorite to Rival with their 2-0 of their own, and Rival with a chance to try and at least make this one go to 3 games. Those differentials, the plus minuses, can really be important. So Rival absolutely want to try and make it to the 3rd game, even if they don't win, and NRG want that clean 2-0. And NRG will be the first pick this time, Taco, banning away the Erlong and the Serket, some junglers already. That is where I feel like that Erlong ban is, aimed towards toward the jungle and Ice. And we'll see what ends up slipping through. Freya still out there to be picked up. Pele as well. Athena gets banned away. A lot of choices.
Well, it seems like things might be just as similar as the first game, but Amaterasu actually the second time around, Rival leaving the Freya open for NRG's taking. That's an interesting strategy there. I'm not entirely certain though that NRG are going to offer the Freya. What am I saying?
Of course they are.
Of course they are.
They're going to snatch that up for themselves. Now, I would not be surprised if on the backswing, Rival do want to grab that Najah, but certainly we'll see there's a lot of good junglers still open for them to try and prioritize. Chernobog is still out there, and we saw that be something that Vote seemed very comfortable on, able to find that kill up against emilitoo, which was very close. I think you said they're like 1v1 fight came down to 40 health. That's crazy, the differential there between it. But yes, for me, I think Rival's chances just went up 50% just with that. That's
also,
how good Ice is on that.
In Vote's defense, too, for anybody back at home that thinks that just looked like Vote choking really hard on those autos, Chernobog is a little bit different in comparison to all the other hunters. His auto attacks can actually crisscross whenever you're trying to strafe. It feels weird essentially when you're going, because he shoots from left and right. So it's not as fluid as it might seem, or straight line as it might seem.
So it's tough. You got to make sure you're keeping them lined up there for Chernobog, and it ends up just barely closing that one out. But this is Najah, and now Bellona coming in. I got to think that's her Deathwalker. This is the exact opposite of what we saw, right? The Hebo and the Pele, who kind of needed some time to get going. That's not going to be the case. Bellona probably rushing Berserkers. Najah getting off the ground, running. Rival, this already feels like way more of a Rival draft, and I'd be afraid if I was NRG.
Not to mention that Rival are also getting a chance to eliminate what they feel like were the problem picks for them against NRG in the last match, taking away that Cerberus and removing the Baron just for good measure.
Right.
Not wanting to permit any form of heavy team AoE space control. NRG, I think that they need a little bit more initiation, or at least some more frontline to pair alongside of that Terra. I like the damage spread so far from
Maybe
NRG.
Sobek, yeah, he's still out there.
I definitely would love to see a Sobek here.
Yeah, I think that could be a huge pick for them as Ymir comes through for Rival. They're prioritizing this Guardian over Sobek, which has been a strong pick here lately, but that's a ton of just strong control that is difficult to deal with. The walls can really cause some problems for Mercury in particular, for Freya too in some ways. So I like this. Try and get this Ymir out.
Osiris as well going to be the choice for maniaKK, it seems, and I think that's just a response pick to the Ymir, as well as the Bellona. Osiris can give a little bit of trouble with that tether and stun outs to try and catch that bludgeon before she has a chance to really get it off, but I can also say that we're probably expecting to see some Berserker shields between the two of them.
Oh yeah, this is going to be an auto attack fest between these two, right? Those basics trading out. And I don't know, I mean, Osiris, it might come out in his favor, though Scourge is pretty good. We'll end up seeing how it works in action as Raijin comes in. So it looks like Chernobog is going to go into vote, and we'll see Raijin for Wlfy there in the mid lane, one of his big picks that he likes to play. But what about you all at home? I know Rival has a ton of fans. There was a tough game, a 1 loss they just took. You still think Rival can get it done, or you think NRG closed out here too? Let us know in that Mixer chat.
NRG's composition is a little bit harder in terms of the execution. I think that last match they certainly had a much easier time. If they missed out on their initial execution factor from their first time around, they could just run right back into it with the consistency spread of the taunts. But right now, not a ton of heavy crowd control for NRG in comparison to Rival.
Right.
I honestly really like this Rival draft in comparison to NRG, but NRG, if they get to take off with the damage spread, it could get nasty.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot on the shoulders of EmilZy and adapting, right, to be able to kind of land that initiation for them in the ways they need. We'll see how it ends up working once these picks get into action. Let's go ahead right here, right now, see what happens in Game 2. NRG against Rival. Casters, you got it.
Thanks a lot, Finch. Thanks a lot, Taco. Still being aggro.
Hey.
How you doing, buddy?
Good. Excited to see if Rival does better in Game 2.
That I am earnestly excited, because I'm not gonna lie. Game number 1 was, sorry folks, it's my job to make this exciting. Game number 1 wasn't exciting.
No, it was a bad performance from Rival.
Yeah.
Now, this game already, I've got a new theory. I don't know if you've cast it with me since I've decided this. This game will be a stomp, one way or the other. And I know that very easily. And I know it for one reason and one reason only. It's because there's a Ymir in this game.
Oh,
Ymir is never in any close game ever. One team gets stomped when there's a Ymir in the game. It's either the Ymir does the stomping or he gets stomped.
Well,
there's no in between.
When I think about who plays Ymir a lot, it's Scary D and Dardes. And Trifecta and Mouse get stomped a lot. So.
I mean, it's in the history of the game. It's in the history of the game.
Oh, yeah?
Give me one close Ymir game ever. You can't, because if you do, I'll say I never saw it.
No, I can. Season 1, month 4, Anatoly played Ymir, and it was a close game. Dignitas won.
Yeah, but did Tolly feed his brains out?
Of course he did, but that's
well,
Tolly.
then, there you go.
But the game was close.
Yeah, but his lane wasn't.
I mean,
and if the enemy
Tolly's
team,
lane was never close.
Well, if the enemy team, yeah, because he was dominating the lane, of course. Besides, this is an opportunity for Kalas to really put on display this Ymir in a great draft. This is a perfect spot for Ymir.
This is.
NRG's composition gets obliterated by jungle walls. No one can get up and over it besides maniaKK. But he might still get stopped.
Adapting right here. This is really smart from adapting. He's going to get turned on, though. And first blood goes to Wlfy.
Mana.
Now Yammyn going to look at the mid lane. EmilZy here as well. iceicebaby relatively low, so he's got to be careful about how he approaches this. Yammyn out of mana, like you said. The melee basics are good enough. Yammyn gets the first kill for his team. iceice's going to go down. Yammyn's going to go down after the fact. Kalas does the stomping. And EmilZy here still fighting. P.S. Vote wins another 1v1 versus emilitoo.
Well, there you go. There you have it. EmilZy might just fall here as well. Kalas being level 3, certainly the difference. Adapting coming to try and help, but Kalas couldn't land the freeze. Adapting in some trouble, but has the dash up and ready. So Rival get off to a great start. Already looking much better. Confident fight in the jungle. Don't want to fight Naja in the early game. Not with Mercury, not with just about anybody. And Rival make NRG pay.
With that said, I really liked the way that Mercury handled that fight with Naja. So adapting goes in and he fights Naja face to face, so Mercury, because of his passive, is going to do better in the early part, right? He gets bonus damage on his first basic attack.
Yeah.
And Naja is going to do better in the latter part because of the way his attack chain works. So adapting goes right in Naja's face, which you're kind of not supposed to do, but he's got the Mercury passive, so he's totally cool. Takes 2-3 hits and then backs off, waiting for Naja's attack chain to reset. And then he re-engages, and he would have gotten the kill if it wasn't for that meddling mid laner. Wlfy comes through and just snaps the damage on, and ain't no such thing as a 1v1 in the Smite Pro League. But Adapting was very, very technical about that fight with iceice, and I definitely want to shout that out. I love the small mechanics like that. I think that's part of what makes Adapting. And, you know, like I said, he does wind up on the bad side of it, but the intelligent approach to that fight is impressive.
Well, ideally, NRG ends up 2 for 0ing or 2 for 1ing with Yammyn getting both kills, and he would have, without a doubt in my mind, he would have killed Kalas potentially too if he just had mana.
Yeah.
Mana conservation and preservation is a big deal for all mid laners, but Freya in particular does nothing without it, and no one drains it faster. But no one regens it faster whenever you go into the melee stance and are able to get your auto attacks in. It regens your mana ridiculously quickly. Yammyn there had a couple opportunities to get kills, with First Blood in particular, the one shot that would have killed iceice on the retreat. Instead of the First Blood going to Rival, would have gone NRG if Yammyn had approximately 60 more mana. Speaking of being out of mana, Wlfy's dead.
Out of life. Wlfy, just surrounded. Nice body blocks coming out from NRG.
You know, everyone's talking about Freya right now and how she's really good and how the burst damage off the 2-1 is insane. Sure. How her ultimate is like super good, takes her out of combat, all that kind of stuff. Sure. You know the best ability in Freya's kit? Banish.
Whoop.
And it isn't close. It isn't close.
I agree. I think on old Freya kit it was close, but it was still Banish. Now I think Banish is far and wide the best ability.
I think old Banish was, or Banish on the old kit was also the best ability in her kit. It's just insane. It is so good that you're going to be able to get these sorts of moments from your Freya to set you up and to make sure that you get your team in a better position. It peels and initiates. It does everything. This ability's nuts.
One of the very few abilities in Smite that does no damage, by the way. There are very
so it needs
few.
to add damage.
Yes, that's what needs to happen.
Yeah. She is lacking in that department. I think that's a good idea. It's also not good enough as an ability.
Oh, I hope that I just hope they never let you in the balancer. Like I hope they just lock the door.
Well, we all know that I'm not in the balancer room because otherwise Zeus would have his stun back by now.
Yeah, Zeus would have 5 abilities.
No, you can keep the same kit. No damage needed. It's done.
So take all the damage away from him.
No more additional damage.
Oh, I thought you just wanted him to be a stun bot.
No, I want him to be a stun bot that also insta kills you.
That's not a good approach to the game, I would say.
Okay, nothing was more fun than getting 2 charges on someone, dropping Lightning Storm, and insta-detonating to stun them in the Lightning Storm.
Have you ever been on the Tower of Terror? That's pretty fun.
We actually did have a Tower of Terror at Kennywood Park in Pittsburgh, and you bet I didn't go on that.
Are you afraid?
Yeah, I don't like heights very much.
Me neither.
What, are you making fun of me?
Yes. Yes, I am. I'm doubling down.
It's not very nice.
Sleepy early game here between NRG and Team Rival. I think that's just the way NRG likes it. They were able to really control game number 1. It was kind of sleepy. A lot of unceremonious kills, as I like to say, because it was just NRG always in the better position, always with the better team fight in general. Rival didn't really do anything, so there wasn't really anything going on. Nice gank here on the right-hand side. Deathwalker going to be rooted and booted. maniaKK gets the kill off the assist from adapting. He's 1-1-1.
Interesting choice from adapting to go for the stone cutting right away. No golden bow or golden blade, basically, in this patch that is very recent, so the players aren't ready to play on that quite yet. Got to get accustomed to it. That won't be for a couple weeks. So no option there for the Mercury. But to rush the stone cutting, this is an expensive item. It is not cheap. I believe it's 2,500, which, as a mid player, I'm like, oh, 2,500, nice and cheap.
Ooh.
As an assassin, that's pretty expensive as far as their item class goes. But it does give you so much power. 50 power, 10% movement speed. Read that as extra power for Mercury. And pen, which ups your protections at the same time. This item is great on Mercury. I think it's amazing, but we've seen Mercury players as a whole trend away from stone cutting and more in favor of the hastened katana. And I wonder if that's where adapting is going to go after finishing boots. Maybe he'll even sit on boots 2 and go for hastened katana right after that.
It's certainly possible. I've always looked at 2 separate approaches to Mercury with, this is a dirty word in competitive gaming playstyle. Whether or not there is a correct answer here, I'm not really sure. The way I've always looked at it is, hastened katana allows Mercury to continuously basic attack you and chase you down a la Kali and Arachne and stuff like that. And the green sword build allows adapting to just one-shot you with the eventual crits. And it's 2 different approaches. Do you want to be burst Mercury, which you'll eventually wind up being burst Mercury anyway, but the early game is what you're trying to control. Do you want to be burst Mercury, or do you want to be chase down Mercury? And adapting's approach here is going for the burst approach. I will say it is surprising to see it before boots.
Very, without expensive as well. On the left-hand side, EmilZy triple ulted and gets crushed. Now Deathwalker trying to avoid being next on the other side. Adapting able to get the angle, but Deathwalker was ready.
Yeah, they weren't able to cross the beams there, but Vote crosses the map. Crosses maniaKK off his list as well. Team Rival doing pretty good here. Nice turnaround. And for every successful NRG team fight that was unexciting because it was 4-on-1 in game number 1, Rival do the same damn thing here, and they just collapse on EmilZy. Whatever went wrong for the Purple Hoods in game 1, this is what Rival do perhaps better than any other team. NRG is probably one of them in the conversation, adapting well to what happened in their loss.
Adjusting. I
Yes.
try and stay away from using it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's fair.
Wlfy's here without mana, but that won't be a big issue. EmilZy gets a mini, but not a big deal. I agree with you. I think that Rival historically, I talked in game 1 about their identity as a team that worked very well as a unit. We're really a teamwork-oriented squad. And I do think that's still true, but their other identity was always that they adjusted very well and were able to make quick changes to their game plan. And that is going to serve them better than the first identity, because when the first identity doesn't do well, then you have the second one to get in there and try and turn things around.
I also think that second identity if you are, after the loss, coming together as a unit to adjust your gameplay, if you have lost that sight of team camaraderie or whatever you want to call it, if you have lost sight of that, that moment of reflection, as iceicebaby gets aggressive, could come back with it.
EmilZy should fall. Another stun. He gets Earth and Fury off this time, but Tier 1 tower still stands. I can hear EmilZy from here complaining about that crit right before the ultimate. And that's not a dig at EmilZy. That's because I would be complaining in that spot. Not a lot of crit chance there when he activates the Flaming Spear.
15%, it's high enough.
Apparently so.
Another invade coming out from Team Rival, stripping away the red buff. NRG won't be able to do much about it. Yammyn, however, speed's already used. 3 players here in the mid lane. Tier 1 tower is available, but he had to bait out the wall still. Ball down, adapting down the middle lane, able to control 3, but he's got no teammates near him. The Hunter and the support a little bit too far away. Solo is already preoccupied. Vote takes to the sky. NRG right now behind the 8 ball.
Vote comes right back down as Wlfy goes right back down onto adapting, but took a tower shot. Luckily for him, no one here from NRG willing and healthy enough to chase, and part of the reason why he's willing to take a tower shot at that part of the game. NRG down about 2K right now, and it's feeling like a good performance from this Ymir so far. Kalas has been a huge part of all of these kills for Rival. He's sitting 2 levels up on EmilZy right now, and I don't know. I'd say the Ymir is beginning to do the stomping.
Yeah, you think he's stomping?
I think so. I think he's dominating these fights.
Well, there's
Ymir never just goes like he didn't really do anything that fight. He either didn't really do anything because he died instantly because he's Ymir, or he carries the team fight.
Ymir is a deceptive guardian because he brings a ton of crowd control, but also a stupid amount of damage. Usually you have to kind of choose. Ares brings the damage, but the crowd control a little bit lacking. And then you look at some of the characters that have a ton of crowd control and the damage is lacking. Ymir kind of does it all. That carpet is going to be able to clear the wave nice and early. The ultimate is a big zone control. Also, PS, stupid amounts of... There's 4 digits on the base value at max level.
And he gets 150% scaling. Ridiculous.
It's so silly. maniaKK trying to fend away the Deathwalker here, who ults above him, and then iceicebaby will ult for the kill.
That's insane. Deathwalker didn't want to hit that ultimate. It's actually bad for him if he does. He does that to force maniaKK to ult to tier 2 where iceicebaby can hit him.
Yep.
He didn't want to hit the ultimate.
Yep. That's we call that a deke. Just like a nice little fake move there. Next level stuff from Team Rival. EmilZy going to be surrounded here. Tanky relatively though. Still might be in some trouble as Yammyn shows up to provide the artillery. Can't decide which target. iceicebaby to the right, Wlfy to the left. Both will survive, but both are in trouble. Adapting, looking to chase down the stragglers. Here he comes. Blink forward. Turns onto the Ymir. Wraps him up. Tosses him to the back. Basics are going to be good. Crit 1. Kalas gone.
iceicebaby out of mana as well. His speed's coming up, and adapting doesn't seem to have the timer, or even if he does, he's more worried about getting the Pyromancer on his side. Well, at least adapting returned the favor. I think he crit Kalas 2 or 3 times during that fight, and he's got not a lot of crit chance.
What is that? 6? 5.
5. I believe Hidden Dagger is 5%.
I thought it was something odd like 6. All right, 5%. Yeah, 5%.
That one hurts.
That was, yeah.
Extremely heroine voice. No one is as unlucky as me. That's Kalas and EmilZy this game. No one is as unlucky as them.
That's just how the cookie crumbles. Adapting!
Caught his dash.
Wlfy right there, really hot play. Yammyn looking for the punish. Freya damage still gets me by surprise, man. Freya damage, that first shot. I mean, what the beast.
What the beast is right. That's a lot of damage coming from him. But I feel like I need to defend Freya every time. I don't even love Freya.
I love Freya. Freya is my love.
I just love burst mages. And Freya is just a burst mage.
Yes.
But that's easier to counter. Yammyn is now in some trouble. I don't know how much his damage is going to help him out here.
Well, he avoids the ultimate from Kalas, and he will ease on out of there.
Okay. if that's a Scylla root crush, it does the same damage, except Wlfy is root crippled.
I also think,
and prot shredded.
yes, I also find myself laughing at the absurdity of crush damage as well.
Good. That's my favorite part.
No, and let me solidify the idea that I am definitely surprised. I'm not upset. I'm not disappointed. Right? I'm not saying that it's not fair or anything. I just.
You might not be saying it. I know other people are saying it.
Well, sure, but I have to be very careful about my how I convey myself. Explaining Mouse's drafts last week, apparently I'm the biggest Mouse fan. So, I've never defended it. I just explained it. That's all I'm saying.
I know. I would have, to be fair, you did a better job than I would have done at explaining it without calling it horrible. Because I don't think I could have stopped myself.
I mentioned it might not be ideal.
That is awfully nice.
Generous. Rival. Looking to be generous to themselves. That's selfish. Gold Fury might be hopped by adapting. There it is! NRG snatches it out of the hands of Team Rival, but Rival taking the fight. Mid lane gets one. maniaKK answers back, putting down iceicebaby. emilitoo gonna answer to the hammer of DW, and it's a 2-for-1. Make that a 2-for-2 as maniaKK on a rampage gets the double.
maniaKK's gonna have to do it all from here because Yammyn is super low. Great double free is coming out of Kalas. And maniaKK is trying to get at least one more with him before he goes down, but Wlfy able to thunder crash away, comes back in, but doesn't get punished. It's a deicide for Rival. They lost the Gold Fury, and they're too weak to really do a whole lot off the back, but that's the fight that we needed to see from Rival.
Yes.
I don't mean that fight, I mean the mentality, the passion that we finally saw from Rival. They're finally able to get a team fight go their way.
NRG, they steal the objective. maniaKK. You know, it's very, very interesting with NRG. maniaKK sometimes is just this hard carry Cucullin that does bring them the game. But more often than not, I'm looking at Kenneth in the jungle, I'm looking at Yammyn in the middle lane, and even emilitoo. But that is maniaKK's identity on this team. Things go screwy, and he ekes out. He's like the juicer. He's finding that last bit for this team, making sure, all right, you guys died. It's my job to even this out even a little bit. And I mean, that's what keeps this one relevant. 1,000 gold lead isn't anything to be afraid of there. If maniaKK doesn't get all of those kills, Team Rival are up 3-4. They get a tower. They're able to waterfall into the lead despite NRG taking it. maniaKK alone makes that bad situation into a slightly less bad situation. It's still not good, but maniaKK kind of stems the bleeding.
Both solo laners were dominant in that team fight. They were able to control the pace of that entire team fight, frontline perfectly, and deal relevant damage all at the same time. Both Deathwalker and maniaKK were really the highlights of that team fight. But watch out for these hunters because they're getting a lot of farms, specifically Vote, who's sitting at level 17 now. He is going to need to be a priority target for NRG in these team fights. emilitoo as well, but Emil is so easily punished on this Artemis in this team composition by Rival that it's a little bit harder for him to recast as easily as Vote just did.
Yeah, and a lot of what Vote can do on the Chernobog, which is why I also think he's very valuable besides the obvious, is Vote can sit back in a team fight, toss the combo out, burst a bunch of players, and then choose when to involve himself.
Ultimate used by emilitoo as Vote took up to the sky. iceicebaby just gets insta-killed, and now Vote is dead too. What in the world was that?
I have no idea what the thought process was there.
Iceice tries to use the ultimate, but Emil's beads are good. Let's say he hits the ultimate on emilitoo. Sure, Emil might die, but if Vote's coming back down, then Adapting's getting a double. Do you really want to feed the Mercury to that? I don't know. That was bad. That
was for as good as the team fight for as good as the team fight was for Rival before. That was just as bad. That was the yin to the yang, right? Not a nice look. Not a nice look at all for Team Rival after a fantastic exchange. Now, because of that, NRG get the 2 kills. They're able to tie the game up. No differential in gold between our two teams. 14-9, Rival in the lead, but that's a nice look. It doesn't really help the game.
And a lot of times you'll see double kills like that, and they don't really matter much. Sure, it's tier 1, but you're giving the farm to the two best late game characters that are in this game currently. It's the Mercury and it's the Artemis. You're giving them kills. Truly a gift for adapting to get that double.
And it's also, I mean, the team was down 1,500 gold. 500 for the tower, and the gold bounty for those 2 kills is that 1,500.
Yeah.
And like you said, not only does the team even things up, but it's on the correct characters. Rival pushing up the tier 1 tower in the middle lane. Probably no defense here from NRG. maniaKK making the rotation. It'll be a hair too late, so the tier 1 tower doesn't fall. Where's the punish, though? NRG looking to make this happen. maniaKK stunned out. Judgment Tether good. Great ultimate from Adapting. Just going to rip the team fight in half. Now everybody up here to the right-hand side. NRG have the ball in their court, and emilitoo slamming it down.
Wlfy tries to help, but it's far too late. Adapting's able to get vote with ease. Wlfy just trying to escape with his life as Icice is isolated on this backside. Rival just, again, are caught off guard and just a little bit too slow to react to what NRG is throwing at them.
That was the element of surprise on Adapting. Team Rival did not expect the Mercury to come through. Everybody CC'd for the moment, and that ultimate what allowed NRG to find the victory in that team fight. Great job by Adapting. Leads directly to the Fire Giant as well. NRG, again, in the driver's seat.
Fire Giant now, the gold lead's small, but there's 4,500 gold worth of towers standing for them to take down, and the gold lead won't be small then. That'll near it to 10K, basically, getting pretty close to it. You add in a Gold Fury, that is 10K, I do believe. Plus, Adapting's only getting better. He just finished Poison Star. emilitoo's going to get chin size here. I do like that Emil's not committing to crit as well. It feels weird to see Artemis without crit, but remember, her passive doesn't include critical strike chance anymore.
Exactly.
It's about dealing damage to those who are CC'd by anything, and there's plenty of small CCs in NRG's composition that can set emilitoo up for that.
He is experimenting with the new item, the Berserker Shield. Cord is still out. By the way, there's a 1,400 crit.
Yep.
Cord is still out.
Yep.
I don't love this on Hunters. I'm willing to be proven wrong. What's your take?
I think it's bad in lane. In the 1v1 up against Vote's Ichabal just does more. Because it's taking your power, it has the pen, it's just worth more in lane to have Ichabal. The difference is in team fights, if you are on the run, Berserker Shield will give you more protection against the enemy solo laner than Ichabal will.
Right.
But if you're able to land your basic attacks with the Ichabal, then the Ichabal is probably going to provide you with a little bit more. So Emil's on a character that needs to spend a lot of time running, frankly. So I think the Berserkers is fine. I think as a whole, Ichabal is just better for Hunters, but it's not horrible.
EmilZy here, being surrounded, but he's just zoning.
Look at this.
His team in the right lane doing the dirty work. They got a kill. They're looking at the tower. I mean, Rival right now are only down 5,000 gold, but it looks like they're down 20. They're out of position. This doesn't look like Rival, honestly.
It doesn't. This
What's
is
happening?
I don't know.
I'm like straight up, Ryan.
I don't know.
This is me. I'm not even broadcast anymore, dude. What the hell's going on?
I've got no clue. It's disappointing, I think, for a lot of Rival fans to see them like this. And this has kind of been a gradual thing for Rival. I don't think it's they're showing up today and having a bad day.
I agree. This is the biggest backslide we've seen, though. I think it's been one step backwards, and this is a big step backwards.
I think so, too. We'll put it this way, right? It looks like NRG's going to be able to win this set. The Rival's certainly not out of it, but it just feels that way right now.
Yes. This is the biggest 7,000 gold lead I've seen in a long time.
Agreed. It feels like it may as well be 70,000.
Yes.
Rival historically is the best defensive team Smite has ever seen.
That's very true.
And it isn't close. So
what about that Cloud9 team that got killed by the Titan
What was
squad?
that? Young Bay, Suntouch. Who else was on that team?
Oh, man.
Those are the only two that I can remember.
Oh, Half Devil?
Was Half Devil on that team?
Half Devil? I think that was Half Devil.
All right. Well, yeah, they're better than them. And
remember when Wlfy got the pentakill under the Titan?
I do. Yeah, Rival's better than that team for sure at defense specifically, not just in general, but like at defense. Yes, that was Wlfy making the defense, not Noble making the defense.
Remember when Pretty Prime? I'm just going.
Okay, thank you. So it's not over. But let's say theoretically NRG win this set. And then you have the fall split of the duality of this matchup in particular, where Rival won it in week 1, now NRG would win it this week in week 4. Which team is the real rival? I think it's closer to this one than it was their week 1 performance. And I think that's the concern. Not losing this, but losing this in this way, and this is a confidence crusher. These sorts of losses where because a lot of people will think that losses against bottom end teams, I think it's easier to lose to SK right now than it is to lose like this to NRG.
I completely agree.
Because you feel like because you are locked in for weeks about this matchup.
Yep.
This is all you think about as a player. You just you eat, sleep, and breathe. How are we beating NRG in week 4? Because it's a rivalry. You know it's going to be a big game. You're both competing for top 2. This has consumed your life for days.
It's
at
all
the very least.
It's all you're thinking about.
And to lose like this is so much more soul crushing than having a bad day against a bad team.
I completely agree, because this is rival. Look, if you know, if you're it's an enigma. That's really what it is. Rival uncharacteristically out of whack at the moment. 14-12. They got more kills, but are leading in no other relevant category. NRG with the win in their sales. 8,000 gold up, looking for the team fight. Adapting it and cut on through. Kala's in trouble, but a great wall keeps players out. And Vote sent all the way back to China. maniaKK with the double kill here. And iceicebaby going to be able to blink out. Deathwalker will be kill number 3 for the team fight. Banished back one more time. Fire Giant even an option? I think they can just go for the push.
Right side Phoenix is coming up soon, but they'll have a fire wave. This might just be game. It's basically on iceicebaby's shoulders to hit an ultimate onto Yammyn adapting or emilitoo. Now, Emil doesn't have relics, but beads are still up for the other 2.
They're going for it. NRG have the confidence. This is the type of set that will give it to them. 75% on the Titan. Iceice and Wlfy trying to deal the damage. 40%, 20%. Iceice gets 1, but it's not going to be enough. NRG tie the game as far as the kills are concerned and take home the victory. That's it for the set. NRG 2-0 above Rival.
And I got nothing else for you. I really don't. Rival has got to find a way to right the ship, because this is not just split defining. This is a potentially season defining game. And I know it seems like we're putting a lot on this, but we are getting very, very close to those placement stages. This is a confidence drainer, and you have to go up against the best of the best who are going to be at their best at LAN. And if you have to go to that placement stage, who knows? I mean, it could just be an easy win. You know, Obey gets hot. Mouse with their new sort of roster, maybe they get hot. Who knows at this point?
This is a game that, I mean, I would even go a step further. Split defining, year defining, team defining.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Smite, a lot of weeks to happen, but if everything goes awry, and if Team Rival blows up in the future, I am not over-exaggerating here, we're looking at this game. We're looking at this set between NRG, and I'll be honest, I'm rooting against that. I want to see Rival be able to stay as a team and continue doing their thing and ascending as they have been for the past couple of years.
Yep.
But this is a scary moment for Rival and their fan base.
Look, it's not over. It could just be a bad day, but the symptoms have been showing throughout the last few weeks, and this is Rival finally going, I need to go to the ER. Like, I've waited too long. This is the I'm coughing up blood moment for Rival, and they've got to see what the doctor ordered.
Oh, well. Not a good look for Team Rival. NRG taking in 2 games. Finch, Taco, what's your take?
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Ryan, Finch, and Taco here to try and break down what happened there and win so heavily in NRG's favor. I mean, for a while there, that was looking like Rival's game, wasn't it? The Ymir walls are working out perfectly. iceicebaby was having the impact they were looking for, too. I mean, that early game looked good. What went wrong?
I'm surprised a little bit that I'm having to say this, but it was honestly that Gold Fury fight. It's
it
hard
hurt,
to say that
yeah.
because NRG wipe. Rival deicide NRG, no problem after they steal the Gold Fury, but it was just that initial taking of the objective. It put NRG back into being able to actively contest.
Even with gold afterwards.
And that's all it came down to. They got their itemization online, and once they were online, just look at the draft they had. What was it? Mercury, Artemis, Freya. I don't think, like, those 3 gods alone, that's pretty much all you need to get a late game hyper carry taking off in the mid, and that's all it took for NRG. I think that even despite having been wiped by Rival, it did not deter them in the slightest. They still came back time and time again, finding continuous picks. That was the other problem too, is that Rival... That was the last team fight we saw from Rival, I feel, because
them win, right?
Everything from that point forward was all energy.
And a big catalyst for that was Adapting, who I think you all correctly identify as the MVP there from Game 2. Two plays come to mind for me with that, right? It's the play in duo lane where Vote is almost at the tower line of energy. He's that far forward, and Adapting and emilitoo come over and catch him there. iceicebaby joins in, but they end up losing that pretty heavily. I think it was a 2-for-0 in Adapting's favor. And then the fight in mid lane where Rival are trying to push down the tier 1 and Adapting ults through hits 2, and those two fights are turned on their head. This is the play I was talking to at the beginning, where Adapting just turns those fights around.
He completely took Vote and iceicebaby by surprise with that one, and I believe the damage still applied as well from the Sonic Boom onto Vote, which is why he was so low. Couldn't get into the darkness, into the wall in time, and all of these Sonic Booms, it just felt like they were completely splitting these team fights apart and just causing Rival to panic on their retreats.
That's a big play too, blinking onto the backline and catching Vote before he can ult away. That's so huge. Not only did he start that fight, but he ends it by making sure that Vote can't have the impact, but Adapting, I feel like he just kind of turned things around. Yammyn did a great job several times throughout the game, extending his life with the Valkyrie's discretion, getting up out of danger, some big whoops as well. Just a huge play from NRG, I felt like, throughout.
And I find it hard to say, but at this point in time, it does feel like Rival are a little bit on life support here in terms of keeping their chances of avoiding the whole round robin stage and everything, the placements leading up to Worlds. I don't think that they're going to be able to hit that top 2 qualification at the moment, because they're just way too close in the standings when it comes to Europe, and I think right now NRG and Dignitas could not be in better position.
It's going to be pretty difficult, I think, for Rival here if they want to try and find their way back through, but let's kind of take a look at where everyone's lining up for on the back end of that fight. Let's say if you were like Extreme Man or something and you were trying to find a place to cut, this would probably be a good spot for that.